I'm going to be making a witch's hat nightlight today. I'm going to use this round mould as the rim of the hat and this oblong mould for the cone. But I don't think it's quite long and I don't think I'm going to need all of that. So I'm going to use some air dry clay and just block off what I don't need using this. So just made that into a sausage, and then I'm going to make a barrier across there with the foam. So stick that down there. So that will be okay for that one. Right, so next I've got some resin mixed up. And for the base of the hat, I want a hole in the middle. So I'm just going to use this mould and have that as like a plug and put that in the centre. I think that's roughly the centre there. Right, so we're all ready, and I've mixed up some Let's Resin 1:1 epoxy resin. And I'm going to add to that some of the Super Sparkle White by Tracy at Mini Scenes GB. So popping some of that into there. And then just going to mix that in. And I'm also going to add in some silver foil flakes. So let's pop some of that into there as well. Oh, this is going to go everywhere, isn't it? Don't need a lot, I don't think. Oops, she says. Loads have gone in. Right, that would do. Let's get rid of that before it goes everywhere. And then get that mixed in. And then when you're mixing this, it will break up the flakes. It should do anyway. Unless I've got some resin on some of those. No, it seems to be doing it okay. Right, so that would do, I think. Let's just get those bits there. Right, so next I've got some Let's Resin alcohol ink. I've got black and purple. And I'm just going to put this straight onto the mould. So get the lids off of those. I'll start with the purple. Just going to drop some of that down, and then the same with the black. Just pop some of that onto there, and then I'm just going to pour my resin straight onto that, and then get that all blended in nicely. I might have to add some more ink if it's not enough. Do that in a minute. Right, so that's that one, and then the same with this one. Which one's this? This is the black. So just dropping that all the way around, and then the same again with the purple, and then topping this one up with the resin. Got some big blobs of foil there, but I think it'll be okay. Did I make up enough resin? I think so. Yes, that'll be okay. Make sure I've got it all to the edges. Right. I'll use up the last bit of this in here, I think, because this can be a bit thicker than what I'm going to need to make the cone. Right, so I think I need to add, let's just give this a bit of a stir in, I think. Make sure I've got those bits of flakes covered. Break them up a little bit more. Let's get some of those flakes over there. And I'm just gonna, I think that needs a bit more ink over there, so I'm going to add a bit more of the black and then a bit more of the purple, and then mix that in. There we go, that's that one. Okay, let's just get a bit more colour down into that gap there. Right, and same with this one. I'm just going to add a bit more purple down into there. A bit more purple up there. Get those flakes mixed in. There. Right, so I'm going to leave this to cure now, but it needs to be to the point where I can demould it, but it's still flexible enough to manipulate. So I'll see you back when this is all cured. I think these have cured up enough now, so I'm just going to pop this one to one side for a minute, and we'll do this one first. So let's see if I can get this bit of foam off of here. Right, so that's that bit off. I think there's still a bit there. That'll be okay. This might be still a bit too soft, but I'm sure it will still be all right. The edges still seem a bit soft in places. Right, let's get this out. Still a bit soft there. My table must have been a bit on the slant for that still to be soft. That's okay. Right, let's pop that to one side. Put some of that there. Right, so I need to make this into a cone. So I'm going to bend that round there. And then hopefully this edge will still be sticky enough to stick down. Let's get that bit off there. Still got some of that needs to come off. Just going to pinch that top bit. And then I need to cut this so it's flat at the bottom. So I'm going to trim this off now, and because it's still nice and soft, it's okay to cut. Right, how's that looking? Oops, right, that'll be okay. I think I'm just going to use a bit of the the Let's Resin UV bonding resin just to hold that at the top there and down that seam. So I'm just going to run some of the resin down there and then cure that with a torch. Set that in place. And then a bit more down that seam there. And then cure that. Right, so that stands up okay now. But I think to make sure it holds its shape, I've made a cone out of some acetate. So I'm just going to place that onto there, just so it sticks into that shape. Right, so we'll just have a tidy up and then we can move on to the other bit. So next we need to get this one out. This is a bit thicker, so it shouldn't be quite so, yeah, that comes out better than the other bit did. Let's get that middle section out. So then that will be the, so that will go on there. I want to give this a bit of a shape. So we're just going to give it some creases in places. Probably left this one a bit too long. Let's stuff some tissue under there. And then same again over this side. And then another one over this side, I think. And then I just need to find something to weigh it down in those areas there. So I've got 3 moulds here that I can use. So place one of those in each of those sections, and then I'm just going to use these crystally stone things that I've got to weigh that down. Right, I think that's enough of a crease in those. Right, so we're going to leave this to set properly, and then I'll see you back for the next bit. These are both cured up now, so that's set to that position now, and I need to attach the cone to there, so it would look like that. So I'm going to use the Let's Resin UV bonding resin, and it doesn't actually attach, it won't, it's got gaps in it, so I'll just have to attach it where it actually touches. So I'm just going to put some around in those areas, so some there, and then cure that. So I'll do this all the way round, and once that's done I'll come back to you for the next bit. This is all attached now, and the bonding UV resin did a brilliant job of filling in those gaps around there, so that's nice and solid now. So next I want to put some lights around the actual underside of the rim. So I've got these lights are on a metal sort of string thing. So we're gonna turn it upside down, and then I'm going to use the bonding UV resin again just to attach these to underneath here. So I'm just going to tack them down in place using the bonding. Oh, 1 minute, let me see. I need to start it at the back, don't I? Right, which is the front and which is the back? Right, so that's the back. So I want to start it from there. So I'm just going to place some of the bonding UV on there, and then cure that, and then do this all the way round. So you don't need to see me doing this all the way round, but I'm just going to tack it going all the way around like that. So just put in another blob of the bonding resin there, tack that into place, and then I'll go all the way around the rim, and then I'll come back when that's done. That's the lights done all the way around the outside edge there, and I've just glued the battery pack onto that base there. So that's how the lights are looking going around the outside. And I've also added some lights to the acetate cone, so that will go up inside there later on. So that's all ready. So next, this top bit's looking a bit untidy, so I've got some air dry clay, and I'm just going to shape that, and then that can go round the top of that cone. So I'm just going to place that around the top there and make that into a bit of a point. Shape that, and then I can cover that with some silver gilding wax. So I'm just going to get that shaped and then just smoothing down those edges a bit there. So that's how that top bit's looking. And I think I'm just going to use the Pebeo gilding wax in the silver, and I'm just going to add some of that to the top, because that black air dry clay isn't really a true black, it's more of a grey. So we'll just give this a coating with that. So that's a nice quick fix. And then I'm also going to go round the outside edge of this as well with the gilding wax. So while I'm just working my way around the edge here, I'll just mention that this video is part of the 31 Days of Halloween that's been organised by Alison at Stressful Mum Paints. So there will be a playlist in my description box, so you can check out all the other amazing videos and makes that have been made for this collaboration. Right, so I think I'm nearly all the way around now. Right, that's it. So that's nice silver shiny edge. Right, so next I think we need to add some decoration to this now. So I've got some black lace, so I'm going to tie that around the base there of the cone. Just do that in a double knot, attach that onto there, and then just cut off, where's my scissors gone? There they are. Cut off some of that extra bit there, and again on that side there. Right, so because I want this to sit, I've got this candle holder, so it will eventually sit on the top of there. And I've also got one of these light bases, so that will sit on top of there, and then the hat will sit on top of there, so it'll make a nice little lamp. So I think we'll also add some of the gilding wax to the base as well. Just add some of that to there, just popping that all the way around, just to tie it in a bit more with the hat. So I think that will probably be enough. Right, so that's that bit done. So next I've got, so when that's sitting on there, the lace will like hang over the side of the hat. Right, so next I've got this lovely feather. So that can go, where's the back? That's the back. So that's going to go in there. So I'm going to pop a bit of glue on the back of there, and I'm using this Mitre Bond super glue, and I'm just going to pop some of that along that edge of the feather there, and then a bit down the bottom there, and then I'll get that stuck into position there without sticking my fingers to it as well. So that's the feather stuck into place, and now I've got these beads, so I thought I would, oh, I've got them in a tangle. Let's just get these untangled. Right, that's better. So I'm just going to make a little sort of loopy chain there, and they can sit over the top. I think I might have done one too many twists. No, that's okay, they're falling down into place. So they will go on there like that. And then I've got this spider to sit on the hat there. So I'm just going to use a bit more of the glue and add him, let's pop some of that onto there. And then give the hat a bit of a spray with the freeze spray, and then attach our spider climbing up the top there. So that's him stuck on. So that's how it's looking, like that. So next I need to add my cone of lights inside, and because there's a lip round here, they should just stay there. So I'm just going to squeeze that down into there, push that in so that won't come out, and then I just need to glue that onto there. So I'll do that off camera because I need to sit that on my lap to do that. So I'll do that and then I'll see you back in a minute. So that's the lights both attached to that base there. So you've got those ones around the rim and also the ones inside. So now it can sit on top of this base as well. So that will sit on there like that. And that's a bit hard to show you now how that's going to look. So thank you ever so much for watching my video today, and stay tuned to see the end results. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.